One of the things you put in there too is you want people who want to do more than just write code. So can you tell me what you mean by that?
Yeah. So I think that there is a systemic problem that exists in how like most organizations, and I say most pretty confidently, most organizations build software. And it stems from like the clash between business and technology and like the needs of business and like really showing value and growth and things like that, and timelines and deadlines, which are the enemy of engineers and all that sort of stuff. And the desire to do great work and not feel like you're constantly on the under the microscope to get something done, or some estimation you're going to provide is constantly being like evaluated, taken for the law because they ask for an estimate, but then they challenge you as to why it's taking longer. And that sort of thing. And I think that this push and pull has created a need for like developer friendly process. And like you've seen this emergence of agile software development, which we run agile. And you ask any person who runs agile what that means for them, they're going to say something different, right? But a lot of what has emerged is like Scrum-based agile with 2-week sprints. And you talk to any software developer, they'll tell you about their experience on a team where they go in, they do their sprint planning at the beginning of their sprint, they get the work that they're going to build, and then they build it, and then they have their retro, they have the daily stand-ups, and it's all kind of the same. And what emerges in those environments is after 2 or 3 years, you get developer burnout. And the system starts to fail and everybody's like tracking velocity and it's all like, you're not pushing enough velocity. And I think that that's born out of creating systems that we can operate in and succeed in, and trying to advocate for kind of engineering needs. And one of the problems that I've seen emerge in team after team is that engineers often don't get to see the work that they're working on until sprint planning day. It's like you've got this product team, product owners or whatever, that are delivering the work, and it's Monday of the sprint. Here's everything you're working on this sprint. And then make sure you can planning poker commit to getting it done. And like, then it's like, okay, well, we're rolling over points or we're sandbagging our estimations to make sure that we hit it and that sort of stuff. And it's just a broken system. And I think the core issue in that broken system is that engineers are not involved early enough in the process. And that's something that I think we've done a little differently that has led to more than just code, right? Because an engineer is more than just a coder. An engineer is a fierce problem solver. They come up with solutions that in an isolation, a product owner or a designer is not going to be able to come up with because they don't know what's possible. And the best product owners and designers might learn what's possible over time, be pretty close, but then you still have this engineer that's out of context, that was not a part of this solution, being handed a thing to build. And what that breeds is resentment between your engineering team and your product team, where the engineers start to feel like code monkeys, or they start to feel like mercenaries, work for hire, basically. And the extreme of that is when entire engineering teams get laid off or whatnot, and then the work gets, project outsourced to some other company kind of thing. But what you can't lose sight of, and what is just such an impressive and powerful thing, is when you bring those engineers into the process way earlier, like put engineers on customer calls to listen to the problems firsthand, have engineers be a part of the conversation when we're trying to like weed out what is the actual problem here, what are possible solutions, how else might we solve this before you even get into like writing epics or stories in the discovery phase of the project. You bring engineers in at that point, and the solutions you produce are so much better, and the engineers themselves feel like they're a part of it. And so that breeds a very healthy engineering culture. And then maybe not all the engineers are in those conversations, but you bring them into the refinement during the discovery period, like working collaboratively while the stories are being created, to evaluate how are we going to build this and that sort of stuff, so that by the time it's being worked on in a sprint, they know about what it is. They know exactly what it is. They were a part of coming up with what it is. And the end result is they're much more likely to succeed in building it. And this is how we operate. This is how we work. This is what we've learned over the last 4 years of doing product development. And like doing this with focus has allowed us to bring more than just coding from an engineer. And I think it's so much more rewarding of an existence as an engineer. And you are going to have engineers who just want to come in and be told exactly what to do and be told, like, here's my list of things that I got to do. And they don't really want to interact with people. They want to go build their thing and do it. Those aren't the engineers for procurement. We want people who want to engage. They want to be collaborative. They want to be a part of the team and engaged in the early processes, which means how much are they writing code? I don't know, writing code 60, 70% of the time. Doing documentation, being a part of these other things, other conversations, 30, 40% of the time. It's a lot more than just writing code here at procurement.